Participation in the debates at the first meeting of the UN Security Council chaired by Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, ministers of 4 countries took part: Ghana, Gabon, Cuba and the United Arab Emirates. The rest of the delegations of the countries participating in the Security Council, and there are 15 of them, were represented either by permanent representatives or their deputies. So these countries expressed their attitude towards the Russian Federation in the language of diplomacy.
By organizing this debate, Russia is trying to portray itself as a defender of the UN Charter and multilateralism. Nothing can be further from the truth. It's cynical. We all know that while Russia is destroying, we are building. While they violate, we protect. The UN Charter, the UN General Assembly, the ICJ, the ICC, everywhere you look, Russia is in contempt.
At the debate in the UN Security Council, which is designed to prevent and extinguish military conflicts, the US permanent representative reminded Lavrov that Russia uses people as pawns in its political game, and called on the Kremlin to release prisoners in Russia. US citizens Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich and former Marine Paul Whelan, the US citizen, was detained 4 years ago on false charges of espionage.
Russia has violated universal human rights and fundamental freedoms both outside and inside its own borders. It has violated international law. That includes the wrongful detention of American citizens. Paul Whelan, Trevor Reed, Brittany Griner, and now Evan Gershkovich. Trevor and Brittany are now thankfully home, safe and sound.
UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres also criticized Russia's actions.
Tensions between major powers are at an historic high. So are the risks of conflict through misadventure or miscalculation. Russia's invasion of Ukraine, in violation of the United Nations Charter and international law, is causing massive suffering and devastation to the country and its people.
The permanent representative of China also spoke sharply towards Russia. He stated that it is unacceptable for any country to distort the meaning of international law, formalize its will and the so-called international order, and unreasonably violate the legitimate rights of other countries.
If a major state arbitrarily turns important treaties and agreements relating to international peace and security into dead letters, then not only will international law be undermined, but there will be no world peace at all. In this regard, the country concerned should seriously consider its actions.
Lavrov himself, as chairman of the meeting of the UN Security Council, was forced to listen to all these statements. Previously, he just left the room. In response, he read the already traditional Russian thesis that the UN is in a deep crisis, and the United States and Western countries are to blame for this. In addition, they allegedly refuse diplomacy and demand a showdown on the battlefield. To this, 27 EU ambassadors to the UN demanded from the Russian Federation a complete and unconditional withdrawal of troops from the territory of Ukraine.
Upholding the rules-based order, a term Russia deliberately misinterprets, means respecting international law and the UN Charter, and ensuring that these rules applies to everyone, so that might does not make right.
But the main idea in the face of Lavrov is to demonstrate his influence on the world stage, including in the UN. International isolation due to full-scale invasion of Ukraine forced Russia to take a closer look at Africa. In the countries of the global south, Russia is trying to find support and at the same time spread their influence over them. That is why on April 1st, when Russia began to chair the UN, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky announced the need to reform the UN, so that a terrorist state and any other state that wants to be a terrorist cannot destroy the world. Reported by Sergei Kulas, Natalia Husak, UATV News.